Welcome to Podheim, Jiroc's Valheim podcast. Let's give him the business.
Hey everybody, today's January 10th, 2023. I'm your host, Jiroc the Viking, and joining me today are my fellow Vikings, Viking Glaive.
Hello, hello.
We also have Shield Maiden, Morning Darkness.
Hey.
And joining us today is one of our old-time favorites, Digi Vaste.
Hello, humans.
Oh no.
Digital Vaste has no camera today, so I like to refer to him as Digi Vaste. Right, Vaste? Digi Vaste?
No comments.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Vaste, here at the last minute. And a couple of announcements we have this week. I am sick. Yay! I was sick right before I left for Nashville, and then I got back from Nashville last week and must have brought something back with me because a couple of days ago I started getting sick again. And
oh no!
Yeah, I was in bed like all the last 2 days. I was in bed like almost the entire time, and got up today. I was like, okay, I think I feel well enough to sit up for a while. I'll probably go to bed right after the podcast though, but want to get our podcast out on a weekly basis. But MD, you hit a big milestone this week. You want to tell everybody what it was?
I did. I know we talked about it last week that it was sort of happening soon, but officially on, gosh, what was it? Sunday night, I hit 1,000 followers on Twitch.
Whoop, whoop.
Ooh,
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then there was one other thing that happened to me this last week. Does anyone notice?
Haircut. So yeah, normally is your hair normally longer?
Yeah, so I actually cut about 20 centimeters or about 8 inches off my hair.
Oh wow! Yeah, normally I guess it's going down the back, but yeah, now I see it sitting, in front of your shoulder there, which I'm not used to seeing.
There's an entire episode where I gave my husband shit because he didn't notice for 36 hours.
Oh, how funny.
It's playful banter. It's fun, but I'm like, he's like, I noticed. I'm like, but you didn't say anything. Even if he was like, oh, you cut your hair. Like, that's all. He didn't have to say he liked it or anything. If you just noticed.
Yeah. Well, especially if you have 8 inches, you say, is about what you took off. That's a good amount to take off.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be pretty noticeable. Like if I'm seeing you on a daily basis or whatever, I would probably notice that.
My niece didn't notice either. Maybe I'm just not noticeable.
Those are
I kid.
Those are 2 words no husband ever wants to hear. Notice anything? Oh man, you start like sweating.
Yeah, you're like, well, looking up and down, looking around the house. You dusted? I don't know. What did you?
No, it's all good. But I had a good time giving him hell for it during one of the streams.
That's funny. Well, congratulations again on 1,000 over on Twitch. That's amazing.
Thanks.
And so what are you going to, you're going to do something to celebrate that, right?
Yeah. So this Saturday, so after podcast is released, from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Pacific time, I'm going to be doing a chaos stream. So there's a mod called Chaos Tricks, where Twitch can interact with the player by using either channel points, which are free, you just accumulate them by watching the channel, or bits, which you got to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And they can spawn trolls and meteor storms, and they can heal you. They can, spawn the roots that smack you around from the elder. And you can control like what is or isn't spawned in as the streamer. And you can change it as you progress in the game. And so I'm going to be doing a chaos stream and see how far I can get. And Glaive, I believe you said that you'd be available to join.
Well,
Vashti, I know you're going to be asleep.
Have you?
It's 3 a.m. for
What was
me.
the time you picked?
10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Anytime during that time.
On Saturday? What day was it?
Saturday night. Yeah.
Saturday night.
So that'd be Sunday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. GMT.
Yeah. Yeah, well, anybody listening to this, if you get to catch it before her stream, you should definitely check that out, 10 p.m. Saturday night. Yeah, I may be able to make that. It depends on what I'm doing Saturday night, but I would love to. Yeah.
You gotta give
last to the end.
you gotta give the server an opportunity to spawn things on you, Jiroc.
Yeah, that actually sounds really fun. You know what I'll do is I'll probably try to, whether I'm on your stream or if I can catch it afterwards, if I can't be on it, I want to see how it plays out and then see how if I want to do something like that. But it definitely sounds like fun to let the players try to spawn stuff on you.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Oh yeah, how hard can they kill me?
Yeah. Well, awesome. What about you, Glaive? You do anything fun over this last week?
So one of my passions is coaching youth sports, specifically football. And so this past weekend, there's a tournament we've been in for like the last 15 years, which is a cancer research and cancer survivor celebration kind of tournament. So all the proceeds go, and we've put a team in for like the last 15 years. And so that was this past weekend. So we went and did that, and that's always fun. So
awesome. And can I ask, what did you pause in the background there? Did we interrupt you? What you were watching on your TV so that you could do the podcast with us?
It was actually Nerdist or one of those types, like Geeks R Us, or I don't know, one of those ones that goes like deep dives. And it was how powerful is Sting going into the Frodo's sword? Like how we know it's powerful. How powerful? And they did like a deep statistical like lore dive into it to really tell you how powerful it is, because they don't really go into it. You just know that it's an ancient elven weapon, but you don't really know how powerful it is.
Oh yeah, I love when I find those videos that do comparisons or talk about the mythology of movies or books or whatever, and kind of bring out the lore a little bit more than maybe you're familiar with. Something like that. That sounds like fun. One of the ones I've seen recently was, I think they were comparing like spaceships from a bunch of different stories and movies and stuff, and showing each one comparatively, and seeing them side by side is interesting, because like you don't always have a perspective of how big something is until you see them side by side.
The dragon comparison was a really good video. All of them, from Ancalagon, which was as big as a mountain, all the way down to the little pup dragons. But it came when Game of Thrones was really popular this season, and Smog, I think, was like the second largest. It's like 400 feet. It's huge. Smog is like huge compared to even the big dragons of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of the dragon being like movies or described in books or whatever. They're just kind of big, maybe like at the size of a house or a couple of houses. I've never been a fan of that type of dragon. I'm always a fan of that giant dragon. That's like basically the size of a house, where its hand is like it could step on a whole house with just its front paw or whatever, its front leg. Like those giant dragons, that's what's like really menacing in lore. Because the smaller ones, it seems like they'd be too easy to kill. Get that lucky arrow shot, but not the big ones. They seem like they could resist a lot more.
Unless they're missing a scale in their chest.
Exactly. A weak spot. Well, Vaste, what did you do fun over this last week?
Last week, we had the folding event when we reset the resource server, so we get a new world, more materials for everyone to get, and each time we reset it, we try to do an event. And for this one, what I did was I went with my admin character, I put PvP on and make them try to defeat me.
Oh, so they had to kill you as admin character.
Yeah, like a raid boss. I was, with the help of a few mods, I was with 7,000 health and I think 50 armor. But the thing is, I had unlimited stamina and magic, so it was a huge problem for them.
Yeah. Well, I heard a couple of players found it a little too difficult. But, the thing about it being an admin and running events is you can only learn by doing, right? So once you run an event, you can learn how to tweak it for next time.
Yeah, but this one is really safe because if you don't activate PvP, you won't get damage because there was no mobs. It was only me.
What about the ballista outside?
Using ballista? Did you use ballista to shoot the players?
No, I didn't. Only me. Because the ballista will attack any player that doesn't want to participate.
Oh, right,
so
right.
I was with the fireballs, and whenever someone logged into the server, I threw one to them, which didn't make any damage because they weren't with PvP active.
Right.
But some of them were a bit too scared of that.
Well, yeah, it's fun to try out different things, and I'm sure that you can tweak it so that maybe the players who were afraid will give it a try next time as you tweak how it works. But that's awesome. Yeah, we again, we have a resource server. It resets every 2 weeks to give the players, new place to explore and resources together to bring back to our permanent servers. And if we have an admin available to run an event, which I think almost all of us here have run events. Glaive, you've even run a couple of events, haven't you? Fairly new admin. But yeah, so that's a lot of fun, something that you can do over on our servers. Let's see what else we got. So, right. I just recently I did a new merch design. Somebody requested this, so I said, "Oh, that would be fun to do." Actually, so it's kind of goofy looking, but I kind of like it. So it's let's see if I can bring up this. There it is. Does it match?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's funny in YouTube comments, I'll get some people say, "Oh, that looks great." And then somebody else says, "Oh, that's goofy." I was like, well, you like it or you don't, whatever. I thought it was fun. And of course,
that is fun.
I put it on a t-shirt. I'm going to definitely have to get one of these because I actually go out of the house like this with my cowboy hat and sunglasses, of course, because sometimes it's sunny. It hasn't been sunny lately, has it? Morning, it's nothing but rain every day.
No, and flooding and windstorms and
yeah.
No, it's been wild here. We had some pretty major winds.
Yeah, the weather's been really nasty recently, but yeah. So yeah, I go out like that, so it'll be fun if I'm wearing that T-shirt and I look like this up here, and people be like, So a fun new design that I've got up if anybody is interested, and So the other we talk about our servers real quick. We have our permanent vanilla servers. The legacy servers of Viking Playground's been up for more than a year. If you haven't heard already, we have a new permanent vanilla server called Runelands, Runelands, Runelands.
Yes.
And it launched with Mistlands, so people have a whole new world with all the new Mistlands. So you can jump back and forth between those two permanent vanilla servers and our resource server, which people are building a lot. Have you guys found Glaive? You maybe are in tune a lot with the server, the players on the server, because I know you play a lot with them. But are people trying to build in the Mistlands much, and are they able to keep their bases from getting destroyed?
So, do you want my personal experience or what I hear from players?
Maybe a little of both.
So I found a cool spot and thought it was safe on the edge of a sharp mountain. Found a little Duergar harbor that had a full door, preserved it. Everything was perfect. And then I was over fixing something on the next island over and saw two Seeker Brutes soldiers inside my little thing. They crushed everything. And then all of my 15 cores fell and then slid down the deep embankment into the deep water. So early on, when cores were very valuable, I lost everything. And I just sit and so that's my personal experience. But I do know that people are learning how to do it. They're clearing off enough land. They're putting floor objects around in the right spots. And so I do know that there are some builds in the Mistlands that are successful. But personally, I have not rebuilt yet because I'm still like sick over having lost my little corner of the world.
and they went into deep water, so you can't even recover them. Oh no!
And I could see them. I just looked down and I couldn't do. I even tried the trick of the 45s. I don't know if anybody knows that trick, but you can put 45s and sort of walk yourself down. It was too far out to do that. I couldn't even get down there that way. It was devastating.
I have a video that shows how to do that. Something Atlantis. I forget what I called that video. But if you look up Valheim and Atlantis, I have a video that shows you how to build roofs to get all the way down. I'm surprised. I guess it was too far out or something.
It wasn't that it was too far down. It was too far out. Yeah, it slid. Out. Yeah.
Aw. Well, I guess you learned the hard way.
I did. Bambi learned right along with me. She was kind of my neighbor, and we thought we were spawn proofed, and obviously we weren't. So she hightailed it to the meadows.
Well, cool. So we also have our modded server, and we're finally sort of getting it stabilized, right, Glaive? Glaive has been the admin who's been during the holidays. Myself and Kondo, our other admin who works on it, and Vaste to some degree, he's been helping with it. We weren't available, so it was mostly Glaive trying to get it working with Valheim. And when you have so many mods, there's conflicts and everything. But we've got it. It's fairly stable now, and we're looking at ways to replace mods for other mods that might make it a little easier to deal with. But I think the players are still having fun with it. I still see some people logging on there. And, now that I always knew that the modded server would be sort of a learning lesson and it would have to be modified as we go. So hopefully we can keep modifying it till we find a nice balance, and then finally actually start adding some more quests to it, because it's called Jotun Quest. I think the questing system will make it really fun.
Yeah, I think Mistlands was always going to be a challenge. I'm sure Kondo and you, Jiroc, after everybody knew that Mistlands was going to be a challenge for the modded server. Anybody that's ever ran with more than one mod knows that as soon as there's an update, there's probably going to be issues. So, it was a good learning experience for me. It was like, hey, Glaive, you want to be an admin? And by the way, Jotun Quest is needs upgraded for Mistlands. Kondo's gone for a month.
Yeah, so jump right into the deep end of the pool there, Glaive, and figure it out.
But no, it was awesome. It's the best way to learn. I mean, just jump into the fire, sink or swim, learn it.
Yeah. Well, and then of course we have our season 3 vanilla no map server, and that's going to end on April 6th of this year.
Wow.
2023. So it's still got plenty of time for anybody who's interested in jumping into season 3 no map. And then we'll reset it and go with season 4. It'll be interesting to find out. Gwen's not here today, but I know she's one of the big ones on there. It'll be interesting to see if players have enough time to progress in 4 months all the way through the Mistlands and defeat, the queen boss and do the things that they would want to do in 4 months. And of course, we can tweak the time based on the feedback we get from the players, but I'm interested to see how far they get. I think 4 months is enough time. How are you doing over there, Morning? Are you doing no map when you play with your husband, or are you guys playing with the map?
No, we were just playing the public test branch, and then it became, normal. So yeah, we've just been playing normally because he hasn't been back to the game since before the caves dropped. So
don't add that extra complication of no map, right? Just
I think there would be problems if I tried to do that to him.
Oh, okay. Well, fun. We have, what's our next build competition is coming up? It's the tower competition, right?
Yeah, I just saw that. I don't know how I was behind, but I just saw that was a thing, and I'm like, I must I must.
I know. I was going to say morning and a tower build competition.
I must. So I got to get working on that.
So you have a week and a day because it looks like today is the 10th of January and we do the judging on the 18th. So a week and a day.
I mean, you saw what I built with the ship, the tree ship.
Yeah, you did that pretty quickly.
Overnight.
And you have experience building towers, so you can apply that experience here and whip something out real quick. And
I already dreamed it up last night. So
nice. Yeah, towers have always been one of my favorite structures to see a player put together because of the way it stands out from the environment, especially if it's really tall. It can stand up above the trees or whatever. And I don't know, I've just seen some really interesting design elements to towers. If you just Google Valheim and tower, you'll see a lot of really cool pictures. And besides like the traditional longhouse, I think the tower might be one of my next favorite structures that people have built in the game. And then of course, next month we've got this kind of something special called the Dwerger home. So the dwarf home. I'm just there's very few parameters around that. I just want to see what people come up with.
Okay. Yeah, because there are definitely some build pieces that they have that we don't have, and like specific structure shapes that they use. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see how people carry that over into like a home setting.
Yeah, I can see.
Do we have a modded?
What's that?
For that? Do we have a modded section for that, or just vanilla for that build comp for the worker home?
People can submit a modded build if they want. Yeah. So if they're on the modded server, or if they're on the vanilla server using like item stand all items, you can, there's some extra things you can do. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people come up with since they don't have those exact same Dwarger pieces, but they have all
they on modded?
No,
Odin's Hammer. Odin's Hammer has them.
I don't think it has all of the Dwarger pieces.
Some of them.
It has a good chunk of them, but maybe they're locked currently. I don't know, but I do know that most of them are there. The big door is there. All of the reinforced copper beams. All of the strange shaped.
Those must have been added after the Mistlands update, right?
Correct.
They probably got added to those mods. But yeah, so I mean, even though you have access to those pieces, how do you implement them into a build that looks really interesting? If people want to submit, a modded entry. It'll be judged separately, of course, but that'll be interesting to see.
Look at this tower. I promise I built it. This is not a pre-spawned. I built this. I promise.
Yeah. You just move into a Dwerger tower. You're like, yep, here's my entry.
I promise I built it. I really did.
Well, if we look at Valheim news, there was an update. I think it was released on the 20th of December. And we missed that update because I was out of town.
We did.
But there were some interesting things that were added to that update, and a couple of things that people may not have noticed. Morning, you want to kind of walk us through some of the things people may not have noticed?
I mean, okay, so you guys tell me, did you guys notice the bugs in the opening scene background? And if so, when did you notice?
In the opening scene?
Yeah.
What are you referring to, the opening scene?
You open the game and it's the start screen. So you've got start game options, The
character select, like the campfire, essentially.
Yeah. Oh, when you're sitting by the campfire, is there something new on that screen?
There are several things. Actually, there's the Mistlands, like the big old title up at the top that says Valheim Mistlands now. But in the background, there are 2 new friends, and they used to be, I believe, Grey Dwarves, like a Grey Dwarf Brute and a Grey Dwarf. Tell me if I'm correct or wrong. And now, if I'm correct, it is a Seeker and a Seeker Soldier.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, I start and stop the game a lot, and I guess I don't pay close enough attention to that login screen. That's pretty cool.
It's a little bit of a spoiler. I know that some people were wanting to have 0 spoilers, and if you're paying attention, you log in, you instantly know what the enemy is going to be just by the login screen.
Right? Yeah, if you're checking it out. So what else might have been something people haven't noticed?
Well, let's see here. Oh my gosh, I tabbed out. So we've talked about this before, but ticks can go through portals if they're attached to you. And that is apparently, according to Smithy, was not intended, but a feature.
Doorways to the mines are included in that. So if you think you can jump out the door to get away from them, you cannot.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Because the door to the dungeons or the caves or the mines or whatever, it's just like a portal sort of.
Just a portal, yeah.
So they go with you. It's funny. My friend who had just got to the Mistlands in his playthrough kept saying to me, "How do you get those darn ticks off of you? No, I can't get them off of me quick enough." And he said he had to Google it, and he figured out, you got to dodge roll to get them off. So if you don't know, you got to dodge roll.
Yeah, if you can get the stamina, because they don't just drain your health; they drain your stamina. I don't like it.
Yeah,
you can actually parry them where they are on you.
Yes, you can parry them.
Yeah, but when they are sucking you already. If there's a weird thing with the ticks that if you move, if you wave enough, if you move around enough, they will change the position to your front, and in that side it will count as a front attack, and you can actually parry it.
So you can just hold your shield up, and then they can't do any damage.
I'm not sure if block counts, but I know I parry one of them and get it out of me.
Interesting.
And you can also just attack. That same methodology, if you shake around and get them in front of you, you can just attack and you can kill it when it's attached to you, as long as it's in front of you.
Or an AoE weapon, right? Yeah. Like a hammer or something.
Right. Of course.
Yeah. Right. But if you're running around, you don't have an AoE weapon on you and they're all over you, you're just panicking because you've got oh no, what's going on here? Oh, dead. Dodge roll.
I hate it so much. No, that's why I like the at gear.
Yeah, you can swing that around, and that hits all of them then if you have the at gear and you swing it?
It has been true in my experience. Yeah. Swing the at gear, and even if I've got a tick on me, it gets rid of it.
Cool.
And the starred ticks are no joke.
Ooh, no. And then, okay, so I have a question. Whatever happened to... So, Jiroc, you did a video on one of the models, and it looked like a moth. Whatever happened to the Valheim moth?
Yeah, I have a little role-playing video, too, where I play Jiroc and Auric finds a moth, and we call it Misty the Moth. Because, it sort of looks like a moth, but sort of just some kind of flying insect.
It's got like a fuzzy body, and it's got really long feelers, and, the wings are kind of small by comparison to its body. It looked like a moth.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing with that is you don't have scale, right? Like you're not sure, is it going to be Deathsquito size or something bigger? Like we didn't really have scale from that image that they gave us. But I believe it's the Seeker. Like I think that moth became the Seeker.
That makes so much sense. It's very different from what the original image looked like. But yeah, okay, I can see that. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I think so.
All right.
At least we know like they were going for a bug theme for the Mistlands, right? And that image kind of gave us a hint of that.
That tracks.
Yeah.
I assume it was the Seeker. I didn't even question that.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just oblivious. I was attached to a moth.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then, has anyone noticed the new animation when you go up 45-degree ladders?
Yep.
No. What?
You do sort of this like hop, and your arms kind of like float, like you do. Whoop, whoop.
That's funny. Yeah, before you would just kind of bounce up the stairs, right? But now your arms animate too as you go, huh?
Yep.
Oh,
Are you telling me instead of fixing it, they actually did additional development to make it worse?
Yes, that is exactly what happened there.
to exaggerate.
It's actually
100%.
not more development because it's, if you realize, it's kind of the same animation as the new fall animation.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of new animations, the portal animation changed. So before you would go through the portal and you would just be sort of standing there, and now you like hover and your arms do this. Also, like different from the ladder, but they like float in front of you and your knees are up, I think.
Oh wow, is that part of the falling animation? So like maybe when you go through the portal, maybe it's like animating what you look like when you're falling?
I haven't really looked at myself falling from the front, so I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, that'd be fun to try out. I'll have to check it out. What anything else?
Well, I'm sure everyone knows this by now, but I think one of the new favorites is the special attack added to the single-handed axe.
Yeah, the middle axe middle mouse button for the special attack on the axe. Yeah, I think I did a video on that. So now you can actually chop those tree stumps and not have to get out your pick to hit them.
Yeah, it's funny. We were actually talking about the other night, and Smithy was like, "Oh, why not just use the pickaxe? What's wrong with the pickaxe?" It's so wrong. I don't know. It's so slow, and it takes all the stamina. Like the special attack on the axe just makes the axe, in my mind, a more viable weapon in general, and I like it.
But we have the black metal pickaxe now to do that.
Right, but it still takes a lot, side-by-side comparison of amount of damage plus stamina usage to take out that stump. It's like 1, maybe 2 chops with the middle mouse with the axe button. It's still 3 or 4 or more or 10 pickaxe picks to get out the stump. And I like it. It just makes forestry so much better.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the axe does a slashing damage, but it also does a damage type that no other weapon does, and it's a chop damage. And trees, I think, have like a weakness or a vulnerability to chop. And since the pickaxe doesn't do chop damage, of course, the axe is going to do more damage to trees. So,
yeah, but it feels so clunky.
I completely disagree with you, Vashte.
Okay. I will say it different. It's on the special attack is only useful for the tree stumps. It's not
about for the larva
or anything else.
The larva.
Oh, yeah, the larva too. Anything that's like really low to the ground, you can
anything that's down, like leeches are so much easier to hit.
Actually, the best thing for the larva is the black metal pickaxe.
What he's saying is he prefers a black metal pickaxe no matter what.
Yeah,
clearly.
No. I explore some of the mines.
Here's the benefit of using the axe versus the pickaxe for what you're talking about. If one of the egg sacs has a seeker brood in it, you can then just go to normal attack with the pickaxe to kill it the minute it starts to come after you. So you can middle mouse button, then regular attack if there's something in there.
Aha, Vaste, you're going to have to go try it.
No, because the pickaxe is also 2 hits. 2 normal hits, so less stamina usage.
But the biggest advantage of using the axe is you save slots in your inventory, right? Because you've got both something to chop trees and break wood pieces down. But you've also got a weapon with a special attack now, right? So
I always carry both anyway, Jiroc. That's
that's no question.
I always love early game, especially. I would love just carrying the axe around because it would save me a slot, and I could chop my trees down, and I could, attack with it. So
yeah,
but yeah, you got to carry your favorite weapon too, right?
Otherwise, like I said, it does make the axe a more viable weapon as a whole, in my opinion. So I like it. I like that update.
Hey, it's better than not having it, even though Vaste would rather use a black metal pickaxe.
Yeah.
Apparently.
doesn't fix the problem with the axe.
Yeah. To fix a problem with the axe, you should be able to throw it. Yeah.
It will make it more viable as an actual weapon.
I like it.
Yeah. What else we got that people might not have noticed?
So I haven't tested this one yet. So I feel like this is hearsay rather than tested. But I hear that they fixed the so-called like stamina cheese that you can do, or stamina bug, where if you're swimming and you're about to run out of stamina, you can just log out of the game real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And when you log back in, you're in the same spot, but your stamina has reset and you can just start swimming again.
Yeah.
I hear that they have fixed that. So if your stamina is at 0 when you log out, your stamina will in fact be at 0 when you log back in.
Yeah, it remembers your stamina now, supposedly. And yeah, I haven't tested it either, but I do remember them talking to Jonathan about it and saying that was one of the big things they wanted to fix, because they know that people were swimming across entire oceans without a boat because they would drop into the water and they would just keep logging out and back in to regain their stamina. Which was kind of a problem when I was running events on the server. I would set up something out in the ocean, an ocean event, and that's kind of part of the challenge, is having to deal with, falling into the water. But then, I would just see players logging in and logging out over and over again. I'm like, they're cheating.
Because you didn't see hard mode. I spent most of the time I spent on the hard mode server season 1. Was trying to swim between continents.
Yeah.
What else we got?
All right. So the artisan tables now have new uses. So like not everyone has thought I should go to the artisan table, because before it didn't make anything. Now it makes stuff. And so, if you haven't been to the artisan table yet, or haven't thought to do that, you should, because there's new stuff on it now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Anything off the top of your head you can remember that's been added?
Yes. So the ballista bolts, as well as, I believe that's where you make the spring to make ballistas, as well as the traps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Has anyone gotten to play with the traps yet?
No, I haven't messed with them yet.
I haven't done it. I want to do it.
I did in my event.
Glaive as an admin set them up to catch the players.
Oh boy. I told someone, I was like, hey, so if you want to, so the relationship between these two people is very much like you and Bambi, Jiroc. And so I told her, I was like, hey, you should open up a hole in the floor, place a rug down, place a bear trap and then place a rug down and see what happens. He totally fell through the hole in the floor and died to the trap.
Oh no. Yeah. Well, when I set up things like that, traps, I like to give some indication that there is a trap there. So if the players, if they're reckless and run through, I always feel bad if you set up something and they have no idea that there's a trap there, and then they walk in and just, they fall into it. I don't think that's fair, but yeah, they try to give them some indication so that if they're reckless, then you blame it on them.
Right. Well,
What else we got in that update?
There's a change to the Seeker AI, which is actually quite nice. Because
you like it?
Yes, because when they release Mistlands, the Seeker will go straight up your ass non-stop, the same as the wolf. And
just right up it, huh?
Seekers with all the best gear, padded armor, the best food you can get before Mistlands and even after Mistlands, they do a lot of damage. Straight up a lot of damage. And the Mistlands gear is not an upgrade enough to actually kind of be able to tank a few hits. So you are in the need of avoiding getting hit. So it's really good to have that kind of AI change. They are now like the Grey Dwarf.
Oh, where they come in and then go away and then come back?
They attack a few times. They go do a lap, and they come back to hit you.
Yeah, it feels like the boars are the fooling AI.
I think that's a genius idea for AI attacking, because so many games, like you're standing there and the thing just runs up to you and it just goes bunk, 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 bunk until you're dead, right? Or until you kill it. And I always thought, even early on in the meadows, like the Grey Dwarf running up and hitting you and then going, and then hitting you again and then coming back around. It gave you a chance, like a fighting chance, especially if you're losing stamina or whatever, to pop a potion or to maybe
it is.
Get cover. It's a great idea for simple AI, right?
Yes and no. There are mobs that make sense because they are the boars. You can tame them so they can be friendly. The Desquito are simply like they hit you once and they shouldn't be constantly hitting you. But for example, the wolf, which is the comparison I did, the wolf are a very aggressive mob. When you see one wolf, you say, I'm done.
Yeah, because it doesn't run away, right?
Yeah, the wolf is one of the more aggressive mobs because they have a really high attack speed and they don't go back. They all or nothing.
And usually you get them in packs, right? Like a lot of times there's more than one wolf.
That's true, yeah. But they're really easy to kill. They get with a few hits you can kill them. They don't.
Wolves are glass cannons.
Well, yeah. In later game, one of the best things I like to do early game, and I'll probably do it when I'm doing the Valheim playthrough, which we just started season 2, is I love to go right up into the mountains while I'm still in the meadows. I like to put a couple of campfires down and go up and explore and check it out before I should be there, just because it's fun. And those wolves are really dangerous when you've only got like maybe troll hide armor or something.
Forget, you should be naked going there. You will lose anything.
Yeah, you'll lose all your stuff and have to do a bunch of corpse runs. What you really ideally want to do is just try to get far enough up to get into a frost cave, right? So you can try to get the frost cave armor, the Fenrir armor.
Yeah, the frost cave, yes. And because the frost cave doesn't have the freezing, so you're actually safe.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's probably going to be one of my challenges I'm going to set for myself over there. Yeah. Just try to get Fenrir armor early as possible.
Oh boy, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Sorry about the dog barking earlier.
Oh, we did.
The other problem.
What's that?
I get crispy.
What was that?
You might have the other problem. You might get crispy.
Oh, crispy, yeah. Yeah, when they put me on fire, yeah. Well, that's why you go in there with a bow and a whole bunch of wooden arrows and you just stand on that beginning ledge and just snipe everything, right?
Yep.
Let's see, what else we got? It looks like Mistlands raids were reduced in difficulty. Is that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
The number of mobs that comes in a raid and the frequency of the raid. So a raid used to have at least one Y'all, probably at least one Brute, and then a couple of Seekers. Now the most common thing is just 2 Seekers and a couple of Broods. Like they actually reduced it significantly, and I think it was because of feedback from builders who didn't want to have to deal with destruction of their entire base every time.
They sought you out, didn't have Y'alls. That was just Seekers, Seeker Soldiers, and Seeker Broods.
Yeah.
Oh, so Y'alls had their own. What's up, y'all?
Yeah.
You're right.
What's up, y'all? I like to think that they did that. They named that after me, like a little homage to Jiroc. How you doing, y'all? Let's see what else. What else got changed in that last Mistlands patch? People might not have noticed.
Just the overall spawn rates themselves for the mobs. They used to spawn. I mean, if you remember when you first went in there, they were like around every corner. Now they're more like, I think I saw somewhere an official post said they're more like trolls. So if you're walking through the Black Forest, you'll see an occasional troll. Before, when you went into Mistlands, it wasn't occasional. I mean, you were seeing bugs everywhere, and now it's much more rare.
I feel like a more apt description is they're more like locks.
Yeah, because they're grouped up a little bit. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it definitely feels probably more like locks. Yeah.
For the Yol is more like the troll. It's a rare spawn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That would make more
feels
sense.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. And they also reduce the attack of the Yol.
Oh, does it not do as much damage, or the frequency of its attack?
Frequency, yeah.
One attack that drops 2 like fireballs. Now it's only 1.
Back. Yeah.
2 projectiles to 1. Yeah, they reduced. They reduced the number of projectiles.
Makes it both. Makes the Yol really, really easy to fight. It's a huge change that I think it might get reverted.
You think it's too easy now?
Yeah, the change is too much, I think, because
maybe they did it because people's bases were getting destroyed too easily.
Yeah, that was definitely a concern I saw.
Yeah, but it's a big mob compared to the troll. A troll with a club will destroy all your base in one swing.
Right, especially early on, if you lead it into your base, it's going to wreck everything.
Yeah, of course, and it makes sense. It's a big mob with a lot of power, and the Yol with only one of the bombs is like, I just need to avoid one, and you are done.
Yeah.
I mean, they still hit pretty frequently. Like, they reduced the back-to-back, but they still can hit those fireballs fairly quickly. So I don't know.
The AI is so easy to trick that's the biggest thing. Once you get under it, you will lose any chance of fight because the AI will be triggered because it doesn't like have you in its attack range, so it won't attack.
Well, one of the things I always find interesting is Valheim seems hard the first time you play through it. So the Mistlands is like this. It seems really hard because everybody's going through it for the first time. But once you get end game and you've got all the gear and you've got all the magic and you've got an overabundance of supplies and potions and all this stuff, you're going to come back through the Mistlands and then think it's too easy, I think. And then, that's when people are going to say, oh, no, you should make it harder. Give the Yols. But right now, initially, everything, everybody feels like everything's too hard because they're still learning and they don't have max gear yet and everything. But just like regular Valheim, when you're in the plains and gear, plains is easy. Like it's not unless you get caught by a couple of surprise death mosquitoes and you're running a feeling village by yourself or something.
Plains will never be easy.
Yeah, if you're really reckless, it can be really tough. But if you take your time and work your way through it with end game gear, it's not too tough.
And I don't think the Yol change was made because of structure damage. I think the Yol change was made because people complained that it was hard to avoid the damage. Mm-hmm. With one projectile, I can now avoid in 4 directions. When there were 2 projectiles, I had to be careful. If I dodged the wrong way, the other projectile would still hit me. I think that's what Lassie's talking about. It becomes very easy to avoid the damage if you know what you're doing. So the threat kind of goes away. There was a lot of threat before. If a Yol came, even if you're experienced, you have potions, but you were still in high threat. Now, I don't really fear them as long as I have a little bit of stamina because I can always avoid the damage.
Even with the 2 hits, it's quite easy to predict the direction. There's not that much RNG the way it lands the 2 projectiles. So it was actually quite easy to guess where it was going.
Okay.
But it did limit which way you could move, though.
And what about the boss fight? Was there something changed about the boss fight in that last patch?
It's new. Well, yes, the boss fight did get changed in the last patch. I believe they made her. I have not gotten to fight her legit yet. So the compare and contrast for me is a little bit challenging, but I have heard a number of people say that they did make her not as difficult in the patch. They reduce some of her damage or something. I'm not sure.
They made her a little bit more stationary. The first version of her was all over the place. She would disappear. She would reappear. She would come out of the floor. She would come out of the ground. She would she was all over the place. And they basically made her more of a stationary target. She still moves. I mean, it's still challenging, but they definitely made her easier to track down.
Got it. Okay, so they just reduced her mobility. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, the first time I fought her, she bugged out and was just chilling in the world. We just stumbled upon her. And the second time, I left the dungeon while husband was fighting her, and she followed me.
Yeah, the first time we fought her, she glitched out into the little Dwarger home. Like basically, she wasn't in the dungeon anymore. She glitched out. She glitched out.
Yeah, I was wondering if that would happen because I've seen it happen with the mobs in dungeons before. So you would imagine that it would happen with her once in a while.
Yeah, because she was already teleporting and burrowing, and she was already doing a bunch of movement things. Yeah.
There's an even worse bug that they fix.
What's that?
Oh.
If there was some chance of the queen getting out into the war, even if it wasn't spawned near one of the spawners, and I encountered this the first day Mistlands got released and I in the resource server. The queen, no one spawned in the place I was because it was clean, no one was there. I was the first one, and the queen was running around the outer world in the Mistlands. No one spawned it.
That's fun though. That's like an Easter egg. That's
an atomic Easter egg, like an atomic bomb Easter egg.
You're wondering, but hey, look, there's a giant mob running at me. I haven't even got in the dungeon yet.
The queen wasn't the problem because it's big, it doesn't fly around, but she spawns a lot of things.
Yeah.
She does spawn a lot of things, yeah.
Yeah. It was a dead spot around that place.
I think Loki might have to drop her in a few places so that she can terrorize some people and spawn in a bunch of things here and there.
New toys for Loki. Uh-oh.
Easy event. Just drop the queen in and leave. There you go.
Oh boy.
Well, one little Easter egg about the queen, the Mistlands queen boss, that when I was talking to Jonathan in our interview, he alluded to the fact that there was one other mob of we only identified 3 mobs that had weak spots on them where you could do extra damage. And he alluded to the fact that there should be a 4th one. Well, he confirmed with me that it was supposed to be the Mistlands queen boss. So she has a weak spot, but it's not active. Like they didn't activate it. So they decided to turn it off for this current release. And they said maybe if they think that like she's too tough or whatever, they may activate it in the future. But right now it's turned off. So technically she has a weak spot, but it's not active. So if you hit her in that weak spot, whatever it is, you won't get the extra damage for now. So just a little teaser for the behind the scenes dev chats. Yeah, insider info coming at you. So new videos posted. I just today, actually before the podcast, I posted a new video. I have like a whole list now that I'm back from vacation, although I got sick. So that killed a couple of days where I was going to be working on videos. But one of the videos I wanted to do, and I've been asked this and people say, what if the Mistlands had no mist? Have you guys seen how absolutely beautiful it is? Have you used a mod to go around with no mist? Oh my goodness. It's so beautiful. It's amazing how beautiful it looks. So I would be just as happy to go play in it with no mist because of how beautiful it looks. But I think the mist adds that level of difficulty. Like actually my friend told me, he says, Iron Gate turned Valheim into a horror game. Because once you go into the Mistlands, like you're suddenly like, where is everything? It's coming at me, right?
And the sounds, the horn of the Jarl. First time you hear that, it is like War of the Worlds. Like what is happening? Yeah, that's kind of like one of the tips. Turn up your sound effects when you're in the Mistlands and really pay attention to sounds because you'll kind of hear when something's near you or getting ready to jump out of the mist.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided, I wanted to do a video on that, and it was something I could put together real quickly before we did the podcast today. And I just fly around and I show the Mistlands in all its glory with no mist, and it is so amazing looking.
Yeah.
What about you, Morning? What have you been getting up over the last week or so?
Well, I've actually done a few videos. I did a surprise build in another streamer's village. Any guesses as to what I might be building?
Treehouse?
Treehouse.
I was going to say tower,
that,
but then treehouse is first option.
Before that, I actually built a chicken coop based on Jiroc Vaste's design.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as easy as you guys make it look.
Well, I slap it together in admin mode, so it's quick. But yeah, it takes some effort when you're doing it in survival.
Also, their naming of the creatures is a little odd for me, so I'm going to use the names in game, not my Americanized assumptions of what they are. So the chickens have a larger hitbox than the hens.
Yes.
And so if you put two eggs in and let them hatch inside the 1x2 meter box, one of those chickens is not gonna end up in that box.
Oh, because they get pushed out?
Yeah, it gets pushed out through the wall. And that happens 100% of the time for me.
I had to make 2 walls.
100% of the time.
Yeah,
2 walls was not enough.
Well, the way I did it was I made sure that you basically leave a buffer.
If you put like the 4 walls all the way around, and then you add another wall all the way around those, when it tries to clip out through the first wall, the second wall behind it pushes it back in.
No, her problem is
you
different.
Have it positioned right.
One is spawning over the other. You need the roof for that. You place the eggs and place directly in the 4 walls you already made for that a 25-degree roof. That's it. That should be it. Or put the egg, like everyone else, put the eggs a little more apart, and that should be it.
Well, so not only did I have to leave extra room, because when I was doing it, they would also hop up above the roof as well. But I did get like a couple of successful breeders built up. I did find a couple of other things. The eggs will roll down a single roof tile, but not a whole shoot of them. So if you have 3 or 4 roof tiles connected, they're not always going to roll down.
They sometimes get hung up on multiple roof pieces. That's why I think when I had them drop onto one and then roll off.
And then roll off. Yeah. Another point of interest is that you can harpoon a chicken as well as a hen twice before they die.
They are so easy to kill.
Right, but chickens have the same HP as a hen, which is not always true with baby and adult tameable creatures in Valheim. So just some points of interest that I learned in my process of building chicken coops. Although, anyway, yeah. So, and then I did a couple more of the date night series with my husband, and we did fight the queen again. And like I said before, we found her and we were legitimately fighting her in the dungeon. And I was like, oh, I'm out of food. I'm going to go back to base, leave. Now, and I've seen tons of people fight the queen in the dungeon, and they leave and come back, and they leave and come back, and they die and come back, and then they die and come back. No one has ever gotten the queen to follow them out of the dungeon. Apparently, only me. So...
How did you get the queen out of the dungeon? Did she clip through the wall somehow?
She followed me. I honestly don't know how it happened, but husband was still in the dungeon. She was aggroed on me. I went down the stairs and out the door, went to base, got some food, came back, and I heard the noises.
And she was roaming around outside the dungeon?
Yeah.
Yeah, she must have clipped through somehow while she was following you down.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so we had to fight her. And this time she wasn't just bugged out stuck on a rock. This time she broke free and was extra more mobile.
Nice. Yeah. Well, yeah, she not locked in that dungeon. Yeah, she probably has more room to roam around and chase you around.
Uh-huh. And there's a lot more terrain differences and changes and rain.
And mist.
Fighting her in the rain was a nightmare.
Oh, I bet.
Or then she'd knock you into like the waterways and then you're wet and swimming and getting smashed by her different attacks and you're just like, oh goodness.
At least you don't need to worry about the fire.
The fire?
Doesn't she have a fire attack?
No, she has a poison attack.
A poison, like a spit or
Okay.
something. Like
Yeah, she has a poison spit attack, which also produces brutes.
Nice.
Super gross.
Nice. Well, it sounds
She
like
is
there's some fun
ugly.
Mistlands
I've never seen
adventures
her.
going on.
Wait, she spawned brutes? That's quite good, actually.
Yeah, the little babies.
Yeah, because
Have
they
you not
drop
fought
the-
her yet, Vashti?
No, not at all.
Mm.
And one of the things I keep hearing is the royal sherry, the real sherry.
Royal jelly.
Yeah, if the queen spawned with if the queen spawn brutes, the brutes drop their sherry. So
They do.
that's an interesting tip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you need more royal jelly, just go farm the queen.
Oh, there you go.
Doesn't sound really good.
Don't kill her. Just let her kill her spawns then, right?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the royal jelly.
Yeah.
I have to add that to my tips video.
Yeah.
Well, talking about Mistlands adventures, Morning, you have anything else that you've been doing in the Mistlands to share with us?
Dear goodness. Yeah. Okay. So I got a suggestion from Fairy2Play last night that if you bring a little ball of refined ether, just put it next to a Dwerger extractor box and it breaks the box open for you.
Oh.
So you
That's
don't have to
cool.
make the Dwerger mad.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. I also recently got to ride a yawl and kill it with a knife. That was exciting.
There's a video where somebody kills the bosses with nothing but refined E-tier. So they just bring a bunch of it, they toss it on the ground and
Oh,
run
I
around and
see,
let it kill the bosses.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Cool. What about you, Glaive? Any Mistlands adventures to talk about? Or maybe
no,
a Valheim tip and trick that you like want to share with us? Could be Mistlands related or generally Valheim related.
So the one that I was doing and then I saw it show up on a video as well is that if you run and jump onto the back of a soldier when he's harassing you, the only damage you can take while you're on top of him is the stomp. And if you time your jump, if you just basically jump up while he stomps, you can basically ride him for a little bit, regain some stamina. So I was using that trick and then I did see it come out on a video recently, but
so that's kind of like the locks then, right? Or
very similar. The
stone golem, but he's harder to stand on because he's just his head is all you have to stand on. You don't have,
and he's so vertical. Yeah, you have to get up on a cliff. But the seeker, you can pretty much, as long as you have enough stamina to jump one time, you can jump onto his back right away.
Yeah, you do know there's only one way to kill a stone golem, right?
No,
you got to ride their head and hit them with the pickaxe. Yeehaw! You got to think of country music playing in the background like a rodeo. Just refer to my other video about that. Well, yeah, that's good. Yeah, actually, I saw a video about that too, about riding the Seeker. And yeah, as soon as they said, the stomp that they do is the only thing that can damage you, I thought immediately, just like the locks. What about you, Vaste? You have a favorite tip or trick in Valheim that you want to share?
Yep. If you are in a sticky situation, the best way to heal is getting killed more times.
So you die once and then just go ahead and die more?
Yeah, this is a trick. Another tip I learned in the hard mode season 1.
So how does that work? Can you explain how it works?
Yeah, if you are I will use the Mistlands as example because I was doing some naked corpse run. So what you can do is once you die, you get the no skill drain. So you have like 10 minutes of free kill that you can die without losing that much. So you get something like one dandelion, one wood, one stone, anything just to leave a grave, and try to do the cost run. If you get it, you get it. If not, it's better to go die in different spots. So when you have a few plays and the timer is running down, it's almost you have less timer in the no skin drain. Eat a lot, and start doing the actual corpse run. Whenever you get hit or something, you can pick one of those almost empty tombstone, and you will get a buff, the corpse run buff, which gives you the high damage reduction, and I think it's 500 health and stamina regeneration.
That doesn't stack though, right?
No, but restarts.
Yeah. So if I understand correctly, die a couple of times so you have multiple tombstones along the way. So if you need to, you can grab one and reset your timer so you get that extra corpse run buff. Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, doesn't a couple of those speedrunners use that technique?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually a good tip that a lot of people don't know. Like I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I keep dying." Well, if it's that tough to get to your corpse, then maybe you could use your tombstone. Maybe you could use this tombstone trick and just go ahead and die a couple of times so you can.
Even you can leave one really at the start of the run. Like let's say you have a portal, you can leave one at the entrance of the portal with the /die in the chat.
Yeah.
You pick that one and you start the run with the buff already. So yeah,
it's a good way to save you from losing more skill points.
Yeah.
It's a way to not get that frustrated because I don't like Mistlands. I don't like the mist in Mistlands. I don't like how it works and the wisp. I like everything else, but the mist I have a problem with that. So I have a couple course run that I did them blind, which means no wisp. I wouldn't pick another wisp because I knew I was going to lose them and going to pick something that doesn't stack. So I was trying to find the best way to get to my body with nothing.
Yeah.
And dying a lot in the meantime, but
well, yeah, that tombstone trick seems like a good one for a lot of different situations. As a matter of fact, that'll probably help me while I'm in the meadows and I'm trying to run up to the cave to get my Fenrir armor early. I just have a bunch of tombstones leading up to the cave.
That's where I learned about that for the first time.
Yeah.
Jiroc. Somebody showed me the tombstone, and it was specifically to get up to a mountain to find and use the hammer trick to find the vein or whatever.
Oh yeah, silver veins. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
What about you, Morning? Do you have a favorite Valheim tip or trick to share with us?
Yeah, so I apparently can't describe this very well, but one of my favorite building tips is to use the normal Valheim door, not the gate, but the normal Valheim door to add snap points to offset things and add dimensions to your building. So one of the things that I like to do, so if you build stone and you want to build in the middle of that stone, you can always shift click, but then you always have things that are just slightly off. Within the build, it doesn't center properly. It sits up higher and off to the side a little bit. And so if you use the Valheim door and, place it so that the outside edge is flush with the outer edge of the stone, then you have exactly the middle of the stone wall to then place something like crystal for the build pieces. But you can do this with, varying stone pieces, like I said, to add dimensionality, all kinds of different things. You can use it to place beams side by side, so you can do horizontal stacked core wood beams that way. You can do all kinds of things with it, and it's a really nice thing because the door has 3 specific different snap points. So even within the build piece itself, you can fine tune where you're placing things, and I really like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting trick, because the door is like one of the only pieces that when you place it, it goes right there in the center, but then it can go a little bit forward and a little bit back from that, right?
Yep.
And then you can connect other pieces to that too and have that slight offset.
Right.
When you build a building, like it can be really flat, or you can use that slight offset and you get a little bit of that 3-dimensional. That's an awesome trick. Yeah, I've seen some builders use that to, like Kondo used it a lot. I think he used it on the bridge on this bridge here in the background here, our Asgard bridge, to get the glass pieces set just so. But yep, good tip for builders, definitely. Well, for me, one of my favorite tips and tricks, Kondo recently showed me, and I plan to do a video on it. But people are having a problem with the yawl, right? And even though they've nerfed it a little bit, made it a little easier to deal with when it's attacking the player, people still have a problem with it attacking their bases.
Jiroc, I thought you didn't like the word nerf. Sorry.
Well. I don't when it comes to balancing what we're trying to do with mods, but it means the same thing, basically.
Okay.
Depends on your context, right? You're like, they keep nerfing everything that way I like it. That's different than saying they're nerfing for balance, right?
Okay.
But so if you could place all the different items around, like workbenches and torches and campfires, to prevent spawn of the seekers and other animals near your base, but they don't seem to prevent spawning of the yawl. But if you trap a yawl near your base, now the zone registers there being a yawl there, so it doesn't spawn another one in. And if you trap 1 or 2 or 3 yawls around your base, you should never have to worry about a yawl. I mean, of course, unless you or somebody else leads one over. But yeah, they shouldn't be spawning near your base. And from what I can tell in my testing, it's a pretty big radius that they won't spawn if there's already a yawl nearby. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do a video on that here soon to show people how to trap a yawl and how to make your base yawl proof. Although I don't think that'll help with the yawl raid event. I don't know. I haven't tested that. I'll have to see if that's if it protects against that as well. Well, let's see. We're coming down to the end, but we might have a Valheim trivia to do, huh, Morning?
We do. Indeed.
All right. So are we going to put our answers in the Discord chat channel for the voice channel?
Yes.
Just like we used to in the past, to see who gets the first correct answer? Wait, let me get my Google up here on the side too.
All right. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
No, Digivaste.
Digivaste's ready.
All right. So this first answer, the first couple are either you know the answer or you don't. And then there are a couple of multiple choice, and then there are a couple of more short single answer. All right. So how many meters can you change the terrain by? All right.
Woot.
No, I send it first.
Nope, Morning,
Jiroc,
what do you see on your screen?
I see Jiroc's answer. So Glaive, we have answering 14. Jiroc is 16, and Vaste is 16. So if someone else would keep score for me.
Oh yeah, I can keep.
Oh, interesting.
That's the lag.
Yeah, but it's
the lag.
It's the person who is administering the quiz.
Yep, it's me.
So is it just the first correct answer gets a point, or do we giving multiple?
Yeah, the first answer gets a point. The first correct answer gets a point.
Okay, so I'll record my point.
No.
Mhm.
All right. Similar concept. I wasn't super creative and I'll get better, I promise. How much does a pickaxe dig in Valheim?
How much does it dig?
Yeah, how deep does it dig?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So one single pick.
To the first
one
question?
single pick with the pickaxe. No. One single hit with the pickaxe. You click the pickaxe once. How deep does it dig?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's me answer, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Waiting on Glaive.
You might be right, Vaste, but I had to go with the other answer.
I feel like
Vaste is correct with 0.5 meters.
Yep, I knew.
So it takes
I was going to guess 0.5 or 1.
2 hits of the pickaxe to go 1 meter down.
There you go. Yep. Good job, Vaste.
You always feel like an eternity to dig all the way down.
Yeah.
How tall is a troll?
That's a good question.
How many meters is a troll?
Let's see. I'm going to say that.
No one got it right.
Oh no! Right. How tall is it?
Lightning round. One more guess, everyone.
Now we're just all guessing different numbers.
I know, right? Glaive is the closest, but you're all still wrong. So no one gets this point for 7 meters tall.
Oh, it's only 7, huh?
Oh, shoot.
I'll put a dash for that. No one got that one right.
No one got that one right.
7
Amazing.
meters. Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess the 14 meters is way too tall.
Yes.
That's twice the height of a normal troll.
Yes. Oh, man. All right. So this next question is a multiple choice, but if you know the answer, feel free to type the answer in before I mention it.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
How much silver does it take to make a wolf cape? 2 silver, 4 silver, 5 silver, or 6 silver?
We're all
Dang, you're all wrong.
We're all wrong.
You're all wrong.
I copied them. You guys led me astray. I should have went with a different answer just to be the odd one out in case it was wrong. So we all put 4. What was the answer?
6. It is 6 silver to make a wolf cape, 4 silver to make a lox cape.
Darn it, Vaste, you're in the mountain wolves. You should know that.
We make too many wolf capes.
I know you should know.
Wait. I'm looking for it.
You doubt my knowledge, Vaste.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's 4 silver. 4 silver.
Is it?
According to the wiki, it is 4, yeah.
Oh, well, shoot. Then I'm wrong.
Then I got to give Vaste the point.
Yep. Vaste got it right first. All right. Dang. I just made a cape and it took...
I assume, though, the wiki's correct. It's not always correct.
No, the wiki is probably correct. I'm probably just delusional.
The last upgrade is 6.
No, that's not what I'm thinking about. Anyway. All right. That's fine. You're right, Vaste.
I knew you were right, Vaste. That's why I copied your answer.
Amazing. All right. What build menu component can you get from the infested mines? Is it Surtling core, copper, black marble, or coin piles? What build menu component can you get from the infested mines?
And what were the choices again?
Surtling core, copper, black marble, or coin piles?
Glaive going out on a limb there.
That took you guys a while. Initially, Vaste's answer is incorrect, but he was able to get the right answer in before Jiroc answered.
Oh, you got two submissions? That disqualifies him.
Does it?
It's your trivia game. You decide.
You
the
can
build
get
menu.
Coin piles.
You can't make black marble.
Yeah,
black marble build pieces are in the build menu.
Okay, so I misinterpreted the question. I thought you meant what can you get that you can also right click and build. Can't build.
No,
what your question? Yes.
So if you get copper in the infested mines, you can make the copper grates, but you don't get copper in the infested mines. If you get black marble, you can build all of the build pieces. The copper or the coin piles are actually in the miscellaneous build menu.
Yeah,
and
she's talking about the tab, the build menu tab.
Yeah, the build menu tab. Sorry, I'm sorry if that wasn't clear enough.
No, that's fine. That's just why I said that, because I was thinking, what do you get in there that you can actually right click and build?
Because I only did one answer.
I was completely lost.
Yeah, so just bombard with as many answers as you can, Vaste, till you get one right.
I was thinking of building material.
Black core wasn't even one of the options.
Yeah, because I was thinking about building materials, and I was like, what is the main building material of the mine?
So black cores are on the crafting tab, not the building tab.
But I wasn't thinking about the tab. I was thinking about build material. Just plain build material.
Right. That's why I was very careful with my wording.
It's up to Morning to decide how to score it.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say that Vaste gets the point because he did get his answer in correctly before you did.
Darn, Vaste has 3 correct answers now.
Damn. Those dead in the Mistlands are paying now.
All right, next question. What does it take to make misty bait?
What was the bait? Yeah, I think you cut out there.
Misty bait.
Ooh. All the ingredients?
2 components does it take to just make the misty bait?
Oh, I don't know. Is there one component that's the same for all the baits?
No.
Oh, okay. So they're all
they're all different.
I haven't
looked at the
baits.
Glaive.
A trophy and a fish.
That is not the answer. Come on, guys.
I have no idea. I've not looked at the baits yet.
Jiroc.
Fishing, yes. I haven't gotten into fishing much.
I may not be right, but I'm not wrong.
Well, yeah, you're just like 2 general categories.
I think Vaste looked it up, but we have an answer.
They were taking so much time. I thought, well, I have enough time to look it up.
All right,
he's already won anyway.
Glaive gets half a point.
Yeah.
No, actually, you guys can still pull in from this. I think I have 9 questions here. So, all right.
So Vaste got that one too?
Grouper and a Locks trophy. Glaive gets half a point, though.
Okay. Glaive gets half a point.
For being funny.
Cheeky answer. A Grouper and a Locks trophy. All right. I have 2 different possible answers, and you guys get to pick one. What fish do you get with cold bait? Is it the northern salmon or the tetrafish? It is, in fact, the tetrafish. Vache! Uh-oh, he might be winning this
No.
one.
Yeah, because there was one buffet with the treta fish, and I remember because it's really rare and it's only in the caves, in the frost caves.
Right, but there's cold bait and there's icy bait.
According to the wiki,
Oh,
too, it says that it can be used to catch pike and tetra.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, then you get half a point, Jiroc, for cheating.
For cheating, yes. For looking it up.
I love it. All right. All right. Well, that's good to know. I'm going to add that to my list here. All right. Okay. Four more questions. All right.
Okay.
How many seconds does a pufferfish poison you? 10 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds, or 6 seconds? How many seconds does a pufferfish poison you?
I answered first, but I think I'm wrong.
So I did some extensive testing, and I believe the countdown is 7 seconds. So I see 10 seconds, 10 seconds, and 8 seconds.
Oh, nobody got it right.
But nobody got it right, because I dropped a pufferfish and I stepped on it like 10 times, and every time I saw the countdown start at 7.
That's good to know. Yeah, I just assumed that it was as ruthless as it could be in full 10 seconds. The biggest answer.
Yeah, but poison is one of the best debuff because there is a few grades of potions. So I almost put 7 or 5 because it has a low grade of fish by logic.
Yeah, another trap you can set for your friends: fill a pit full of pufferfish.
Yeah.
All right. What does it take to summon the queen? Sealbreaker key, 3 seeker trophies, 3 dwerger trophies, or 3 seeker soldier trophies?
Well, we have 3 totally different answers.
Those are each individual answers. The trick question here that Vashti picked up on is, how do you summon the queen? Not go and fight her. So you go and she's already chilling out in the world, well, in her dungeon at game start. So you don't summon her like the other bosses. She's just like trapped, and you can access her by going in with the Sealbreaker key. But if you want to fight her again, you must summon her by using 3 Seeker Soldier trophies.
No fair. Vaste's got all the points.
Shows you got to play the game more.
He doesn't like Mistlands, but he knows all the answers. What the
I
hell?
know, right?
He hasn't even fought the queen yet, and he knows the answer.
Oh, yeah. True. I saw a video recently about that. That's why.
All right. Next question. What is the sap to soft tissue ratio? 1:1, 2:1, 1:2, or 20:21?
Well, what were the options again?
Sap to soft tissue, 1:1, 2:1, 1:2, or 20:21.
Okay, I'm just choosing an answer that they didn't pick. So hopefully one of us got it right.
Glaive coming in with a point.
Oh wow!
There's always one less than there should be. It's gotta be a bug. It drove me bananas.
20:21. Wow.
Yeah. It was the same with the calls, so I almost put the one. But it's about,
All right, last question. Another Mistlands one, so we might have to warn people that there are spoilers in this trivia. What 2 types of damage does refined ether do? What 2 types of damage
Basti,
does
you're right.
refined ether do?
Well, energy. I said electricity, but yeah. I think you're right, Vasti. I don't
All
know.
right, we have electricity and fire.
No.
Oh, well, I'm assuming that that's what you mean by energy.
Yeah.
Poison and electricity. I'm assuming that's what you mean by the word you typed there, Vaste.
Electrid.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say it out loud, Jiroc. I wasn't going to make fun of him. I was just saying I'm going to assume that's what you meant. And Glaive says electric and pierce. Vaste is correct with poison and electricity with almost a complete sweep of the trivia question.
Wow. That's the last one, right?
Yeah, that's the last one.
So Vaste has 7 points. Glaive has 1.5, and I have 1.5. All right, Glaive, tied for second. Woo!
Yay, you!
I think that's the highest point we have in this trivia.
Yeah, it's because you weren't competing against me and Gwen.
Yeah, Morning
Well,
always sweeps it.
No, I don't.
I think Mistlands, yes, but Gwen will be completely lost in this one.
Yeah, the Mistlands stuff she's just getting into, so yeah, she might not know as much about the Mistlands.
Yeah, I was going to hold off on some questions, but I held no mercy for you three.
Question me on the mods of Jotun Quest, and I win. I promise.
Yeah, right.
Well, actually, Vaste probably knows them too, but it'd be closer.
Yeah, I was
anyway.
going to say.
It'd be closer anyway.
Anything mod or admin command related, yeah, I got that covered.
Yeah.
Well, let's close out real quick with a little about us segment, real quick for those who hung out to the end of the podcast here. If you had your own late night talk show, who would be your first guest and why?
I don't. I don't need a talk show.
No, if you had one and they said you got to pick someone who's your first guest, you can get anybody you want. Who do you pick?
You give me all the people I want to talk to on this podcast. All right, someone we haven't interviewed on the podcast. So if I had my own show, not the Jiroc show, the Morning Darkness show, I would love my first guest to be either Richard Svensson or Heinrich Tornquist. I think that's how you say his name.
No, we'll have to ask him when he's on.
Well, that would be amazing.
Yeah, if we can get them.
That's who I would want to interview first. Because if anyone hasn't picked up on a theme, I am obsessed with this game.
Yeah, I think we all are. That's why we're here doing a podcast.
I know.
The only Valheim podcast out there, ongoing one.
Hey.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I would definitely, for the podcast, love to have them on as well.
Yeah.
But Glaive, if you have your own late night talk show host and you're being paid all those millions of dollars and you got to pick one guest to be your first, you can get anybody you want. Who would it be?
So for me, Adam Sandler, because he's always been fascinating because I kind of grew up with him, when he was early on in Saturday Night Live and sort of, and then everything you hear about him is that even though he's literally one of the most powerful and people in Hollywood or whatever, that he's still very grounded, very family oriented, wears regular clothes around. And I would just love to pick his brain about how it is to try to be a normal person, but also be a mega superstar, the way that he is. So yeah, he's a very interesting person to me.
Yeah, it seems to me like he would have a hard time going places and not getting recognized. He's probably one of the more recognizable actors out there, is where some people, they can kind of blend in a little bit, depending on, their outfit. But I don't think he could blend in much. I think I could spot him out of any crowd, no matter what he's wearing. Well, Vaste, if you have the DigiVasti late night talk show and you could have any guest in the world, who would you pick?
After some few minutes before the podcast starting, you all three poking me about not having an answer.
Yes, he refused to answer at first. He said, "No one. I don't want to interview anybody." No, I say, "I'm bending your arm. You have to pick someone."
I would say Christopher Nolan, the movie director.
Christopher Nolan, Interstellar, Inception, and
all the
a lot of
Batman
other good
trilogy.
movies.
Yeah,
Batman.
there's a new one coming up right now that there's quite some comments about that movie that might be mind blowing how to do all that and how to came up with all that. So I think it will be really interesting. Also, I mentioned that Interstellar, I saw it a few times. I like watching some of the news on spatial exploration and all kind of stuff. And there's been recently released a few pictures of a black hole that it looks almost the same as the one he put in the movie, which is a really weird one that is quite special the way it works and stuff. And now there's picture of one that is almost the same.
Yeah, I think they did some computer modeling to try to, see what a black hole might look like, and that's what they used in that movie. And it's pretty spectacular what it looks like and how the physics work and the time dilation when they're close to a heavy gravitational field when they go to that one planet, and only like a half an hour passes for them, but something like 18 years pass for the guy who's in the spaceship rotating around. Yeah, that relativity stuff is pretty awesome in that movie. That's actually one of my favorite movies of all time.
I also
Interstellar.
I was studying at first for an engineering degree, so I kind of study some of quantum physics for that, and it's mind blowing. It's insane, and it's really interesting and really hard.
Yeah. If you really want to tease your brain with the possibilities in our universe, look into quantum mechanics a little bit. They really go against what we would, the way we perceive the universe in our macro scale here on Earth. It's pretty fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I had to have somebody on a late night talk show, even Podheim, if they would come on, I don't know if they would come on to a gaming podcast, but I would pick either Ricky Gervais or Sam Harris. And those two actually have done a podcast together. So that's I love, and I've actually listened to it. I think they do it in seasons. So they've done, I think, 3 seasons of their podcast together. And it's fascinating because Ricky Gervais, he's a critical thinker. He actually started, I think, in biology or something, like he was studying in school and then gave that up and, became basically a comedian and an actor. But he's really smart. He's really, he's a really big humanitarian. He's really big critical thinker. And Sam Harris is the same way. And Sam Harris was a neuroscientist and a philosopher. And so, like, they talk about some of the world's biggest problems, but they also talk about goofy stuff. So to have these two intellectuals going back and forth, especially in their podcast, it's just like some of the most entertaining, time you can spend listening to a podcast. So I've listened to their 3 seasons, I don't know, about 5 or 6 times now. They're just fun to go back through. But if I could interview either one of them, that would be absolutely awesome. So if you're out there and you play Valheim, please get a hold of me because I would love to chat with you. Or if anybody who knows them,
that'd be cool.
Plays Valheim and can put me in touch. Because of course I've worked in the critical thinking and skepticism circles myself. Working with the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, who I'm sure they're both aware of. At least Sam Harris is, because they mingle in similar circles. I bet you I'm only 2 Kevin Bacons removed from both of those actors. Seriously, I'm like 2 Kevin Bacons removed, if you guys understand that reference.
Yep.
So
I don't.
Funny.
We'll explain it off air. But I think that's going to do it for this week, everybody. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for having us. Yeah.
Hey guys, thank you.
That's it for now. Have fun out there.